We are following news tonight from our nation's capital as the House passed a foreign aid package totaling about $95 billion over the weekend. It's aimed to deliver funds for Ukraine, Israel, and U.S. allies in the Indo-Pacific. Now, the House Speaker's decision to put the bill comes up for a vote, and that is following months of Republican infighting and debate over additional aid for Ukraine. Our Washington, D.C. correspondents Rachel Knapp and Brendan Scanlon have been following this closely. They're joining us live tonight with the very latest from our nation's capital. Good evening.
Hey there, Eva. Good evening. Yeah, Congress has been deeply divided over this foreign aid package. That wasn't until this Saturday when Speaker Johnson had those 4 bills up for a vote, including that $61 billion for Ukraine. The other bills provide assistance for Israel, the Indo-Pacific, and a 4th bill included some GOP priorities like sanctions on Iran, as well as legislation that could potentially lead to a nationwide ban of TikTok. Now, Speaker Mike Johnson had to work with Democrats to get this aid across the finish line, especially that Ukraine aid bill. There were 101 Republicans who voted for it, but 112 Republicans in the House that voted against that Ukraine aid, including some of our local members.
That one of them was a New York Congressman, Nick Langworthy. He said that, in short, that he does sympathize with Ukraine in their efforts to push back against Russian advances, but that he has some concerns about some provisions in the bill. For example, he's worried that the loans in this legislation, that he's worried that Ukraine is not going to be able to repay us back for these loans. But some of our Pennsylvania representatives like Mike Kelly and Glenn Thompson, they were part of the Republican yes votes. Kelly said in part that he has been monitoring Putin's advances in Russia, and he feels that that the security for Europe is at jeopardy, and so that's part of the reason why he moved forward with the aid for Ukraine. Also, he said that with this legislation that we'll be able to, quote, build more weapons at home and replenish America's defense industrial base, end quote. Now, Speaker Johnson, like Brendan said, has faced a lot of pushback just to put these bills on the floor. However, Johnson is defying some of these far-right House Republicans' warnings and could face a motion to vacate because of it.
As I've said many times, I don't walk around this building being worried about a motion to vacate. I have to do my job. You do the right thing, and you let the chips fall where they may.
And Eva, the House is gone this week. House members will not be in Washington, so we're going to have to wait and see until the House returns whether those disgruntled Republicans will actually move forward with this motion to vacate, essentially to oust Speaker Mike Johnson. So we'll have our eyes peeled on that for sure.
And for this week, we're going to keep our eyes on the Senate as well, because now those legislations are up for a vote maybe later on this week in the Senate. We also saw that President Biden spoke recently with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, reassuring him that once the Senate passes this legislation, he'll sign it, and so that we can quickly send this aid over to Ukraine. Reporting in Washington, D.C. for Erie News Now, I'm Rachel Knapp.
And I'm Brendan Scanlon. Eva, back to you.